No,
Yeah, there it is.
no, it's more or less. I think we should really talk about all the games Chris hasn't finished and spoil everyone for him.
No.
I don't. You see, that's the problem. Is I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah. All
So
they do is potentially spoil things for people listening in.
yeah.
Well, we should do that. We should play the. I'm going to spoil all old video games for you people.
Okay, you're not going to hurt my feelings.
You know that Pong has a very robust story mode?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's the best story mode I've ever played in my life.
This is an episode of Lies, is what you're saying.
Is that the title?
No, it's called No Scrubs. Because that's what I was listening to when I was typing out the thing.
You were listening to No Scrubs?
Yeah, obviously.
Why?
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know, because you generally listen to like 1940s like silent film era background music songs. I don't know.
I contain multitudes.
130 years of Nintendo. Why don't we have a brief little?
As we did Nintendo last week.
I'll sum it up real quick. 130 years of Nintendo, 40 years of our actual interest to me.
Yeah, the other 90 are playing cards and hotels or whatever it is they used to do.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just
whatever.
Hey, you want to hear the most unnecessary rumor that popped up today that is about as close to coming true as nothing?
What's that?
Today it was rumored that Sony is in talks to buy Take-Two Interactive, known as the guys that own Rockstar. So Sony basically is going to buy Rockstar, is what they're saying, and own Grand Theft Auto, which also includes 2K. So all the basketball games, Borderlands, Civilization, all those things that is definitely not going to happen.
Where did you see this?
Oh, it was a huge rumor that popped up on a bunch of like business blogs and stuff. It was like Sony is in advanced talks with Take-Two, and I'm like, sure it is. Just like you guys reported that Microsoft was in advanced talks to buy EA a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
That's what I just said.
Oh, Gearbox teased about Borderlands 3 for PAX East.
Yep, I'll be there. I'll let you know what it is. I'm going to laugh so hard if it's not Borderlands 3, because PAX East seems like such a weird place to drop that. It's going to be like a Borderlands spin-off or oh God, I'm going to laugh so hard if it's a Borderlands Battle Royale.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
The thing is, the world has changed so much since Borderlands 2 came out, like the industry, that I really don't think Borderlands, if it came out today, would do as well.
Like, I don't know. I think it's about time. Like, so the video game industry operates. It seems like it operates much faster than the movie industry, because like I feel like after Avengers Endgame, it's done. Comic book movies are done. That's just. It's going to be the movie that ends all comic book movies. So, like Battle Royale games, I really think it's wearing thin on people.
Oh, buddy, have you not heard of Apex Legends?
Oh, I have. But
the game that is already making Fortnite look like a little.
But like, if this is the future of gaming, it's not a good future.
Well, maybe not for us because we don't play competitive multiplayer games, but we also have to understand that we're increasingly becoming the angry old man yelling at the clouds, because that is what the kids like, and it kind of, they're not being made for us anymore, buddy.
No, I know, I hear you. It's just like, this is how you destroy an industry. If you want to be taken serious as an industry, this is how you destroy your industry, is by going towards this route of battle royales and no real development, no real story, no real like effort. This is laziness. This is
why you're not right about that, Josh, because it's not like that's all that's happening. Yeah, popular and all the people are playing, but it's not like we're not getting stuff like Last of Us or God of War or Spider-Man. We're still getting there's too many of those types of games. Like we're at the point now where there's so many games of all types that we can't play them all. It's just the ones that are getting all the mainstream discussion are the ones you don't care about.
That's true. But you know what? Whatever. That's
I know,
good.
like you have Sekiro coming out next week.
I know. Thank you.
Devil May Cry come out this week. And we are in a year that has seen already Kingdom Hearts 3 and all kinds of like huge single player games. And then Division 2 comes out this week as well. So there's tons of games that you care about. It's just you don't care about Battle Royale.
I don't. That's the fact.
What about you, Chris? Are you big on Battle Royale?
No, not really. I played 2 rounds of Apex Legends. I got killed by someone I didn't see. And then I uninstalled the game. It doesn't do it for me. But I'm not going to be nearly as pessimistic as Josh. I think gaming is big enough to survive, and it's cyclical, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough to look at and be like, hey, before Battle Royale blew up and took the world by storm, which has really only been the past 2.5 years, when you think about it, like. From PUBG to Fortnite to Apex Legends, it's been under 3 years. And before that, well, what was the big draw was all the Call of Duty style multiplayer. Yeah. That was the big shit. And before that, it was Halo style multiplayer. That was the big shit. And before that, it was GoldenEye. That was the big shit. And before that, it was Doom and Quake.
Mascot platformers.
Yeah, it's like Chris said. It's cyclical. There'll be a new fad later. But the beauty of the indie game industry is that even the genres that the AAA studios won't support anymore, we still get by the fistful.
That's true.
Right? It's like you just mentioned, what was it? Solar Ash Kingdom is the new game by the Hyperlight Drifter people. You know, like we live in a world where that's coming out. We don't know dick about it, but it looks great. It
looks beautiful.
So, in your theory of Battle Royale ruining the industry, we wouldn't have gotten that.
Well, it's a hypothesis. It's not a theory. It hasn't been proven.
Well, it's a poop hypothesis, Josh.
Well, yeah, I take that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't want multiplayer. I don't want Borderlands to be a Battle Royale.
Yeah, but here's the problem: is companies like that chase the trends, and that's why Activision and EA and companies like that put out such, I don't want to say derivative because they're quality games, they just don't appeal to me. But the fact that Call of Duty and Battlefield both tacked on a Battle Royale mode just shows that they're not about innovating. They're just about taking what people love and shoehorning it in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Borderlands did the same thing. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love Borderlands to just be a next-gen Borderlands 2 with some cool new features and quality of life and a new story and a gajillion guns again with 4-player co-op. But
I think that would be perfect.
Who knows?
Hell, 6-player co-op might even be better.
I don't know if we'll get that. I have a question for Chris.
Yeah, what up?
How much do you love it when I make puns?
Not at all.
Oh, well, okay.
None of us. No one. Just make it.
Puns are the lifeblood of America.
Just make the pun.
Oh, I don't have one. I just wanted to know.
Well, you should already know how much I hate them. And by proxy, you.
What?
I said how much I hate them, and by proxy, you.
You don't hate me. You love me.
You test that sometimes.
Hey, Josh, what did the old man use to escape from Katrina?
What?
A hurricane.
This might be our worst episode we've ever done.
Hold on. I've got more, guys.
No, you don't. This isn't the episode.
I did just come up with an idea. We don't have to answer it now because I want to give you time to think about it. If Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, because we know Microsoft's been on a buying spree and has picked up about 7 new studios to be first party. So if you could have each company buy up a studio, who would you pick? Like, what would be the best fit for them and why? Think on that. We'll come back to it, circle around. So, yeah. If you could make any game company exclusive to the platform, why? Which one and why?
Okay.
So mull that over while I pull up another topic out of my butt. Oh, you know what's coming out on the 19th?
No.
Hold on. Oh, man. So GDC is coming up. Yeah, the 19th. GDC. Google is unveiling their video game console.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do we know about it?
We don't know anything except it's Google, and they have the clout to kind of buy their way in. It's very reminiscent of when Microsoft announced their bid into the console market. Everyone was like, what do you know about video games? You just do computers and stuff. And then they're like, hold on, we got this. And it took them a while to find their footing, but they had the backing and the finances to kind of wait out that rough patch. And then we all know what happened with the 360. So all these people that are automatically dismissing Google because like, oh, is it just going to be a bunch of phone games? And I'm like, guys, you don't even know what it is yet. It's Google. If there's any company that could just do it,
if anything, it's going to be a complete streaming service, probably.
And that's a lot of people are predicting it's going to be very heavy on streaming, which is going to be rough because streaming infrastructure and the internet infrastructure in America is garbage at best. It might be pushing 5G because we know 5G is going to start breaking out into the market soon. So
yeah, yeah.
They're going to have a press conference on the 19th. So that will be next Tuesday where they unveil their new console. Now, you might have seen pictures of a controller for it floating around the internet, and with a lot of people making fun of how bad it looks. That is not what the controller looks like. No one actually read the article. It was an artist's interpretation based on the patent. So it is not official at all, just in case you have seen it. It is not the actual thingamajigger.
I want to see this.
Oh, okay.
How bad does it look?
Just type in Google Game Controller. If you type in Google Game Controller, yeah, it's the first thing that pops up. Let's play.
Oh.
It's an ugly, terrible-looking controller. It looks like it would just be the antithesis of ergonomic. But then you read the article of the guy that first leaked that picture, and you're like, oh, this isn't actually it. This is just our interpretation based on the patent information. We're like, all right, you asshole. You definitely.
You know what? We should get another. I think it should be a Dreamcast. I think they should just give us the Dreamcast controller.
Now, you know what? The Dreamcast controller, I'm going to just come out and say it. Not a great controller.
It isn't. That's the whole thing. It's an awful controller.
That's my hot take for the day. Chris, what you got for us?
Not much of anything.
No.
What a slow week, huh?
I mean, yes and no. The Google news has been big, but overall, nothing like earth-shattering has happened. So, the biggest news I'd say this week is Microsoft did an Inside Xbox and announced that the Master Chief Collection will be hitting PC and most notably also Steam. They're not even keeping it just on the Windows service.
And it's going to have the best Halo game in it.
Which one? Halo 5?
Halo 1.
Reach.
I'm kidding. It's Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly, Halo should have ended with Reach. Like Reach, it was Bungie's swan song. They should have left it at that because everything 343 has done with the franchise since is just, I don't know, Chris. Mediocre is not the right word because that's disingenuous. But I don't think anything they've done has touched the Bungie era of Halo, like 4 and 5.
I can see that. I think the actual best one of the series is ODST.
But that was Bungie, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was also Bungie.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the series as a whole.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about that Bungie hasn't been touched. Like 343 hasn't done anything in the decade they've had the franchise that has warranted praise, I guess. I don't know.
They're very competent Halo games. They are what they are, but they don't have anything going for them beyond
It's
that.
the big thing is they are Halo games.
They are in fact Halo games that came out on the Xbox One.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I played the Halo games for the campaign, not so much the multiplayer. And while 4 and 5 were technically like good games mechanically, the story was just utter nonsense. You could tell that story ended with 3 and Reach, and they had no idea where to go from there. Just my take, my hot take.
Hot take. That's a good hot take.
Chris, did you read any comics this week, bro?
I've been catching up slowly but surely on the last couple of weeks. I haven't read anything that came out this week.
Man, you're killing me, Smalls.
I can talk about some comics, though, if you give me a moment.
So this week, Magnificent Miss Marvel hit.
Yep.
Marvel had a good week this week. Magnificent Miss Marvel launched with a new creative team for Kamala. And also the 50th issue of Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Our little squirrel, the little squirrel that could, hit a milestone this week.
Good for Squirrel Girl.
Also, Chris, I know you're not reading Spider-Man, but my goodness, the Hunted storyline, the return of Kraven.
Ooh.
I feel like that's going to make me very sad after getting very invested in the Kraven of Squirrel Girl.
Oh yeah, it's a complete tonal shift. Like you can't. It took me a while to parse the two, but Squirrel Girl is basically like an alternate universe Marvel where everyone's happy and can be talked down.
Yeah, that's true.
Evil. Whereas regular Marvel, Kraven is a fucking tactician knight. So the gist of Hunted is Kraven is back from the dead. I don't even know how because wasn't reading Spider-Man at the time, but he's back. Doesn't matter. It's comics. Why not? And he realizes that like nothing means anything anymore. He's like, I died a warrior's death, and now it's meaningless, and so screw everything. He genetically raised children to train to be his legacy, and then he's been basically picking up like rich people throughout the world as they've tried to hunt in the Sahara, like big game hunters, and instead of killing them, he gives them he's like, do you want to become a real hunter? And then he hires Taskmaster to kidnap every villain that has an animal theme to their name. Rhino, Scorpion, Black Cat, the Owl, whatever. And he basically puts them on this reserve he's built along with Spider-Man, and all of them are being hunted now by Kraven's child and this army of his. And it's kind of fascinating.
It's so weird. It's
been such a good storyline so far.
Spider-Man is this though?
Peter.
Well, that's not as scary.
The Miles storyline in his own book is he's working alongside the Rhino to rescue a bunch of kids that are being superhero trafficked.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, what about you, Chris?
I'm really enjoying Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil.
Whoa, what?
Chip Zdarsky is now currently writing Daredevil.
When did that start?
2 issues ago.
Oh shit!
It plays off of the previous storyline and everything that happened in it, and we're still dealing with this status quo of Wilson Fisk as mayor of New York, and everything that kind of rolls into that. Plus the fact that Daredevil probably killed a guy on accident.
Yep.
So
the only thing you need to know about the previous arc is Daredevil almost died. Like from just an accident. He got hit by a car saving a kid, because he's Daredevil. And that incident like broke his body, like all of his old injuries reopened and stuff, and he almost died. And he had to go through a lot of rehabilitation. And Chip Zdarsky's picking him up where he's just resumed being Daredevil, but he's not at 100%. And his first fight with some thugs, he might have accidentally lashed out and hit the guy in the head with his baton harder than he thought. And the guy bled out from a cerebral hemorrhage. and now Daredevil's wanted for murder. He's convinced he didn't do it, so he keeps thinking it's a trick and he's being framed, but we're slowly finding out that nope, you just accidentally murdered the dude.
Oh, interesting.
And it's interesting because it's Chip Zdarsky, but it is not a comedy. It is the opposite of what I usually expect from a Chip Zdarsky written book. Wouldn't you agree, Chris?
Yeah, it plays against his type, and I think it works really well. But we've seen him kind of stretch his writerly muscles the last couple of years. In new and interesting ways. So this is just another layer to it.
Hey, so this is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The new era. The first time someone other than G. Willow Wilson is writing Miss Marvel.
Yep.
It's impressive. That usually doesn't happen often. So let's see, what else did I read this week? Justice League Dark has been phenomenal. Chris,
I stopped reading Justice League Dark.
You're missing out. I don't know if you've been reading.
I don't think so.
It's only 9 issues in. I don't know if you've actually read this team.
I've read 7 of the issues, and I don't care for it.
With the other kind?
What?
With the other kind?
I don't know.
I mean, if you've read 7 issues, then you've got to have been introduced to the other kind, unless you've been reading a different series.
No.
Anyway, we got introduced to the other Lords of Order beyond Dr. Fate.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. This book is so good. It might be my favorite DC book that's coming out right now.
I'm very glad you like it.
I refuse to believe you've read 7 issues if you don't even know who the big bad guy is right now.
So how many issues did I buy?
2.
No, more than 2.
Did you read the story, the crossover storyline with Wonder Woman where she became a goddess of magic?
Let's see. Hold on.
Because that was like issue 2.
Yeah, I read up to 7. It just doesn't do anything for me.
I mean, did you really read it if you don't know anything I'm talking about?
I mean, yeah, I read them. It just didn't sink in.
All right. Anyway, here's the cover of that Spider-Man book I was telling you about. Look at your boy Craven. My one downside to Spider-Man so far has been, you know how Spider-Man has always had a very accelerated release schedule?
Yes.
Because of that, the artist switches like every other issue. And it's super frustrating because one of the artists is amazing. It's the artist from Invincible with Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley.
Mm-hmm.
His Spider-Man issues, fantastic. Then you have Humberto Ramos and Chris Bocciolo. Those are the other 2. And as we know, those 2 artists are 2 that I just really I'm not too big on.
Understandably, they're extremely stylistic.
This is Mark Millar's new series, his new 6-part miniseries that he'll probably turn into a TV show.
Yeah, Netflix has already got the rights to it, so.
Yep.
Wow, that's fast.
I mean, he signed a deal with them a couple of years ago, so anything that he creates now is just scripts is ready to go.
Pretty much. Finally, have you been reading the Batman Who Laughs, Chris?
Yep, I just finished the 3rd issue.
Then you'll need to pick up this next. It's a one-off called The Grim Knight. It fits in between issues 3 and 4, I believe. Yeah, it takes place between 3 and 4.
Yes, this has been on my radar for a while. I'm very excited to read it.
Basically, what if Batman was the Punisher for Josh?
Yeah, okay. Cool.
The new Punisher series by Marvel is kind of fun too, where the Punisher is in prison in Bagalia, which is the Hydra-led country. And the last 3 issues have been him dealing with his jailbreak and planting improvised bombs and burning people alive in the way the Punisher only can. It's delightful.
I think you're delightful.
Oh, wow.
Ow. I've had this nagging cough that, like, I'm not sick anymore, but the cough lingers. And it's a dry cough, but it just, like, rattles my head sometimes and gives me a headache.
You have the plague.
Not fun. I do. I do have the plague, and it's okay.
You got the Division 2 plague.
Oh, man.
Does anyone play the
all that money. What, Chris?
Did anyone play the Division beta?
No, because I knew I'd play the actual game, so I'm just picking that up.
So, what about that Anthem?
What about it? Chris plays it all the time.
I play a lot of it.
How do you feel about it?
Well, I like it. I do think I watched a review of it earlier today or yesterday, and the reviewer said it's two games. There's the game that takes place in Storyville, which is BioWare and its characters and its lore and everything, and then there's Gameplayville, which is giant robots, fighting the same enemy over and over, and they don't meet. I will say that in my experience, my choices have not mattered thus far. I'm about level 13 of, I want to say 30 or 20. My choices have not mattered. I have just been alternating between responses for people. I think the gameplay itself is good. I've not run into any issues with crashes or glitches or any of the other issues that people have come across. But I can see that it's that people may not be thrilled with it and is kind of flawed. So,
you know what? Between Fallout and Anthem, you've been enjoying a lot of what people have been calling objectively bad games, but there's just something about games that you know aren't great, but you're still enjoying them, and that's fine.
And it's funny that you say that, because I'm real tired of these games that are coming out and they're not great. I'm real over it.
Do you think if you didn't have people like Kevin and Zach and David and our friends actively playing these with you, that you would have bounced off long ago?
I probably wouldn't have gotten them at all.
Yeah. Like, I think the fact that they're multiplayer games that you can share with your friends, like, if you have a network of people to experience it with, then it's less the game and more just spending time with them. But I guarantee if a better game came around, you'd be like, all right, I'm good.
Can I tell you the passive aggressiveness of Anthem always makes me laugh.
Okay, hit me.
Because their tagline is stronger together. And it really wants you to play with other players. And I don't want to play with other players. I want to play by myself. So I'll go to the mission log and I'll pick a mission and I'll say, private match, just me doing this quest. And I'll click start the mission, and then the game will pop saying, hey buddy, we can't help but notice you set your game to private. Do you really want to do this, or do you want to play with actual people? Just click A and people will be assigned to your game. Or I guess click B and play by yourself, you fucking loser.
Wow.
It's a very passive aggressive. It happens every time I start a mission by myself. But I'm not playing with other people. I have heard enough stories about how no one will res you if you die or any of these other things. I'm not taking those chances.
All right.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's the problem with a lot of these multiplayer games. It's like, because I still play Destiny because I have that group of friends who play it. But like when we'll play, like it's just two of us playing, and then we're playing with other people in Gambit, and it's just like, you can res us, like right next to me. Nope, okay, nope, no teamwork. It's like, I don't know if people are just being assholes or they're stupid.
I don't know, it's hard to say. Just I think it's hard to build these makeshift teams because it's just I just met this person. Why would I go out of my way to save them? Fuck them.
Well, that's kind of cynical.
Well, I mean, I admittedly, I'm the person who threw out the entire story of Far Cry 3 and made it my own story in my head and enjoyed it immensely. So yeah. I play games differently.
You do.
You ever turn up the background?
The greatest hero.
What's up?
Don't ever turn off the background music.
No.
Every game.
Really?
Every game. Can't stand it.
What if it's really good music?
Well, but the problem I have with that is that the music is cued to the gameplay, so when it gets really tense, like I know something's about to happen.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do. I play Fallout and Skyrim without any music.
Yeah.
All ambient noise. I think it's a great way to do it. And then for like when I was playing Neo, I turned the music completely off, and it was an amazing experience.
It really depends, because I think sometimes they overplay their hand when they're producing music for games.
Okay.
But I listen to podcasts if it's not like a very involved game.
Oh, by the way, you want to know some sad news?
Nah.
So the new Yakuza game, Judgment, has been halted. The sales for it have been stopped in Japan, and now we might not get it in America, even though it's supposed to come out this summer.
Why is that?
One of the main characters in the game, the actor who plays him, was arrested for cocaine, I believe, use and distribution.
Fantastic.
And drug offenses like that are so egregious in Japan that like they don't want to be selling a game where he will profit from it. So they've stopped sales of the game, and we don't know what they're going to do, because it's not like he's a minor character they can cut his content from when they bring him to the West. He's a major player in the game, and so who knows what they're going to do, because it's motion capped. It's not just voice acting. The whole character is just that actor.
That's pretty fantastic.
So that happened.
Japan does not play around. There was a wrestler a couple of years ago who got caught with like a little bit of weed in his gear bag, and he was barred from the country for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, could not compete in Japan. They fucking cut him.
Huh.
And like for like a little bit of weed, they don't fucking play.
Drugs are no joke over there, but you can drink in public.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that in New Orleans, so.
Yeah.
So it's a wild world.
It is a wild world.
I don't know. That's all I got.
Matt, did you like the new Aladdin trailer?
The new one, yes. I think it looked way better. Still not 100% sold. I think Lion King is the better of the two this year. But my love of Aladdin is so strong that, I mean, I'm seeing it regardless.
I was talking about this the other day, and I think the problem with some of these live-action Disney movies is that they're a little too slavish to the original movie, to the point where Beauty and the Beast is the example I'll go with. We were watching Beauty and the Beast, and for large chunks of it, I was like, I'd rather just watch the animated version. I think the movies that have done really well are Cinderella and The Jungle Book, which have kind of changed their stories around but kept it pretty close. But these real slavish approaches don't do a whole lot for me. Which doesn't matter, because Disney's going to pump out 20 more in the next 5 years.
Fingers crossed.
I don't know. You seen Dumbo?
No.
Yeah. The sadness of Dumbo.
Skipping Dumbo this year. But that's because I don't care for the original Dumbo. That's not one of the Disney movies that holds a special place for me at all. Like, I can barely sit through a rewatch of that movie. I don't like Dumbo. So a live-action remake of it is just like, it doesn't even have my love of the source material powering me.
I rewatched Dumbo last year, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah, it fucking was.
And sadly, the most interesting parts of the movie can't be used in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
They just can't.
Nope. Much of the movie was definitely generational.
Yeah, but I've also, it's Tim Burton, and what early reviews I've heard had said that this is Tim Burton's best movie in years.
That is a low bar.
It sure is.
Wow.
Remember when Tim Burton used to be a good thing, and now you're just like, really, buddy?
Yeah, I think Sweeney Todd was
I
the last
blame
great
Nightmare
movie.
Before Christmas. I think him getting credit for that movie when he was just a producer, that was it. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Sweeney Todd was his last good movie.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd was good. Big Fish was good. But there's only so much Tim Burton can do.
Well, he should do less.
All right.
So this rambly ass episode I think is over.
Yep. We didn't have a theme because Doug, who was the crux of this theme, unfortunately had not great personal things to take care of. So next week we are going to be taking a deep dive into
pandering
and the most pandering series and IPs that have been thrust at us in recent times, and it's going to be fun. It'll be fun.
Do I have to watch Ready Player One? Do I have to?
You mean pander the movie?
No.
Yeah.
No one should have to watch Ready Player One. The question is, do you want to?
No, I don't. I really don't.
It's fine.
Okay, good.
You can listen to the worst audiobook of all time. I really had high hopes for the Ready Player One audiobook because we were going on a long trip, and I was like, "Ooh, Will Wheaton," and then he was the fucking worst. That was inspired. I mean, oh god, it was just.
I love how Will Wheaton gives no one a different voice
at all.
Just Will Wheaton.
Not at all. It's just like, and then she said blah 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 blah, and then he said blah 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 blah. And it wasn't until the audiobook that the bad writing of the book really drove home for me, because normally a writer will mix it up a bit so it doesn't sound so banana. But every conversation, it's just blank said, and then blank said, and then blank said. You couldn't even mix up with, and then he replied, or and then he exclaimed. No, it's, and then he said, but then he said, but then she said, and then blah, blah, blah said. And it just goes on for an entire conversation. You're like, if I took a shot for every time he said the word said, I'd be dead by chapter 3.
Have you read Ernest Cline's poetry to Geek Girls?
No. What?
My man. I'm going to send you the link.
Please.
How awful is this guy?
It's not awful. He's literally Pander McPanderson. You could tell he was just a nerd, and so he just decided, and he was a nerd that like no one, that wasn't cool. And so he's taken everything that he was made fun of for liking, because all the stuff he shoves in and panders to is basically 80s, like late 70s and all of the 80s and maybe some 90s, because there's nothing contemporary. It's just the stuff this dude grew up with.
Yeah, I understand that.
I think it's very easy to kind of to look at Ready Player One as the mess that it is, but I think its origins are from a place of a kind of a pure place, because it's very obvious that the things he talks about he absolutely loves. There is such loving detail about Joust in that fucking book that there's no way that he was just like he picked a game at random.
No, that was definitely something he did.
So on that front, you know, it's very nice that a kind of slowly forgotten era of pop culture is being brought back. On the other hand, it's so clumsy, and adaptation really doesn't do it any favors.
It's just a weird choice for Spielberg to do. I just don't.
It was the wrong choice, I think. But I think he was also the only one who could get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Steven Spielberg was like, "Hey, can I use the Battletoads in this movie?" And they were like, "Yeah, okay, Spielberg."
I kind of feel like that a lot of people are getting conned because they're super fans of certain things, and once they're pandered to, well, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, we sure will.
Yeah,
don't worry. Ready Player One will be a factor.
Yeah,
I've got lots of thoughts. I actually really like Ready Player One.
Oh,
Warts and all. Warts and all.
Really?
I do. It's not good, but I still enjoy reading it.
I revisited it because I read it the first time and was like, wow, that was really good. And then it wasn't until re-listening to it with someone else on the audiobook that I was like, ooh.
Yeah, the audiobook, Will Wheaton sucks. But even though it's not good and it's got a lot of questions, like really all of the United States is down. What is the rest of the world down too? What are we eating?
Yeah.
Questions like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll pander to you too.
All the pandering. I'll wear a crop top.
Oh.